Welcome to Cool Ranch Corner, episode 37? Around 37, right?
I think so.
37. Yeah, 37. Around
Wow.
37. Wow.
Wow.
Obviously Chris is at a different setup. So, but we're working with what we got right now.
Yeah, I've got
But
one screen.
it's weird going from two screens to one screen. Like when I
Oh,
work
I
on the
have three.
laptop,
I have three monitors.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess we can just get right into this week's life updates, like what's going on this week. So, I had a scare. I totally thought Theo's fish was dead. Like he likes to sleep by the heater in his tank, but lately he's been like sleeping at the bottom of the tank, like in the rocks. And so like you go like I tap the glass, right? And usually after like 5 seconds, it'll like twitch and be like, "Oh, food time." I was tapping that bitch for like 30 seconds, bro. I was like, oh no, bro's dead. And then finally he started swimming. I was like, okay, cool. Because it was like a rough, long day. And I was like, I really don't want to have to do a freaking fish burial right now, you know? Because if
Yeah.
you don't, it'll start stinking.
Well, so I remember when I had a goldfish that we won. I think I won that one at like a school fair or something like that. When that thing died, I don't know if it was that one or if it was your fish, but I know we had a fish where we put it in the toilet. We were gonna flush it down the toilet, and then it started swimming.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, that sucks because like you're already mid flush, and he's just like, wait.
John Bernthal. I got another story. So, without getting into too much detail, today I was doing like a little production photo shoot slash test footage thing. And so one of the things I was doing was driving this old 60s muscle car. And it's not like a, I mean, it's a cool muscle car, but it's not like a super nice looking one. Like it looks like it's been around the block. And so this car guy is like explaining to me while in reverse, because we're like going down a dirt road, and it's so small you can only go one way, right? And so we're in the middle of the desert, and he's backing up, and he's explaining to me what the shot is and like what I need to do when I drive the car. And I have my arm resting on like the side because it's a convertible. So I'm like this, and I'm like, and then a cactus, like it's a skinny one of those like skinny looking cactuses. It's not like one of the big cactuses,
Mhm.
so the needles are fairly small. Brushes my hand, and I just go like this, and there's just needles in my fingers, and I'm just like, oh man, hang on, man, I gotta deal with this. And so I'm pulling out needles, and like he feels bad because he felt like it was his fault because he was like talking to me while going in reverse. Like there's no way I could pay attention while he's trying to do this, you know? Like it's loud because the car's old and loud. And so he tries to start helping me and starts like breaking them. And I'm like, no,
Oh,
no, like, and I'm like, oh. So I came home, and nobody had tweezers, so I had to like wait till I got home to pull the last like two or three out. But yeah, that was my first experience getting thorned by a cactus or whatever the hell you call it.
well,
It did
because
not hurt as bad as I thought it would because they were small,
it,
and it wasn't like a numbing one.
well, did you see my camera flash green for a second there? What the heck was that?
Just roll with it.
Dude, we can't. I think it's this motherboard. um,
You got anything?
so obviously I'm in a different location, so I had to drive here, but I got off work at midnight, and I'm like, all right, well I need to get gas. Well, I was like, if I wait a couple hours, hopefully all the weirdos are gone, right? Well, it's like 2:30. I go to get gas, and
How long is the drive?
like 3.5 hours. Um, and this this dude appears out of nowhere while I'm getting gas and mumbles something at
Can I
me.
borrow some underwear?
No, no, like, but I was like, I don't even know what to say. Meanwhile, like I have that little thing down on the gas pump, so it's going automatically. And so I was kind of just like looking at the number because I'm just trying to get out of there. And this dude's bothering me, right? And he kept saying the same thing over and over again, but I couldn't tell what it was. And he starts getting closer, and I look at the gas pump, and it says like $36. So I was like, "Oh, hey, my tank is full." And so I hear it go boom, and I take it out, put it in there, I just drive out of there. I was like, "I am not messing with this," right? And once again, it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm all by myself, and
Yeah.
there's a group of other like homeless people that are over in the corner over there, and I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm not gonna stick around to find out. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
getting out of here, dude. But that was my first experience, like dealing with a situation like that, because it was just it's weird. It's awkward because you don't want to be like, I can't hear you. I don't understand what you're
Yeah.
saying, and then like they're probably asking for money, and I don't carry cash, so it's just
Yeah.
it was not
I
ideal.
understand. I understand like homeless people have their situation and they got to do what they got to do, but it sucks because they totally put you on the spot and it's always like really awkward. Like I hate I don't carry cash. So like I hate when they're like, "Hey, you got any spare change?" It's like, "Nah, man, I don't carry cash." Like, "Oh, I see how it is." No, I don't carry cash, bro. Like
Yeah, what
it's
are you gonna do? Is
2024.
stick up a QR code so that we can cash app you $5? Like I don't know what else they
No,
want, man.
yeah, like, dude, even when I get change at like a grocery store, they hand me like literal change or like sometimes it's like $1 or something at a coffee shop. I will literally just be like right in the tip jar because I don't want to carry it. I don't want to carry loose change around. Like
That's
I
fair.
just don't. You
You
know?
know, I also just in general with cash, it's like you can lose that really easily. Like you just pull out your wallet, and then
Yeah.
maybe like over time, your $10 bill might slowly slip out, and then one day you're not paying attention and it just falls out. Like I've had that happen
Yeah.
before, where you have like a dollar in there or something like that, and it just one day vanishes, or you leave it in the wash. Like it
Yeah.
happens. So
I mean,
yeah.
I'll admit it's a little crazy when I like it does I do kind of like stop and go, "Whoa, that's kind of wild." When you go to like I don't I've seen fast food places and stuff where they'll have like a piece of paper on the one it's like no bills larger than like 20 or
20,
whatever. And I'm
yeah.
like, that's crazy, man. Like you're just not so you're telling me like if I was some rich guy and I'm like all living out like I decide like I'm living off the grid because I can. I can't hand you $100 bill and like pay for everybody's food in the
Which
car. You're gonna tell me no? It's
what's
crazy.
wild about that is most times you get food at a fast food place, it's probably $20. Like
Yeah, it's very easy for one person to spend 20
yeah.
bucks nowadays.
Yeah, and so if you were to go there with a lot of people, yeah, you could be paying more than 20. And if you're like, "Hey, I have a $50 bill here." They're
Oh
like,
shit.
"Nope."
Yeah.
Um but also, I mean, I think it's weird when you go to a place and they're like, "Yeah, we only accept cash right now." And I'm like,
Have
"Oh,
you ever
great. So I can't even come here. Like, I'm not going to go to an ATM. So later."
have you ever had a cashier like have you ever given cash to a like this hasn't happened to me in a couple years, I think. But like one of the last times I remember using cash to pay for something at like a grocery store because like I don't know like a roommate gave me no yeah no somebody gave me cash like John Carlo like John
Mhm.
Carlo and Jorge sometimes give me cash and so like it's like oh there's money for the babysitter or something um but like I've had a couple of instances where I hand a cashier like a couple of $5 bills or something, and like they have to give me change, and they're like, "Can you just like pay with a card, man? Like I don't want to like I have to count all this change and stuff." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like it's like simple math, bro. Like this is like second grade level math."
I haven't been the person giving the cash and then having that happen, but I have been given cash when I worked at like Best Buy and been like in my head it's kind of like great, like I'm gonna be sitting here for a little bit longer because I have to give this person change, right? Whereas if they use a card, transaction's over, I can get to the next person and keep going, right? But it's not because like, oh, I don't want to do math right now. It's there's a line. That's the
No,
only time
like
I've ever felt that
literally,
way. If you're the
it's
only
literally
person there
happening,
and
and I'm the only person. Yeah,
and not to mention saying that is a little weird. Like, that's your job,
yeah.
you
And they were
know?
like on their phone when I walked up. You know, like they're just a bum,
You're just a bum.
just a
Yeah.
bum.
No, I haven't experienced that, but I mean, that's pretty weird. I feel like I would just I don't know. Maybe I'd be like,
I
you know
feel like
what?
it's
You know,
probably more common.
well, it's probably people who are like either currently in high school or who are like fresh out of high school like now because yeah, it's just I mean, I'm sure they still teach kids how to actually like count change, but it's not as necessary anymore. Like most of the time when you're talking about
Yeah.
money, you're just about, oh, hey, I'm getting groceries. I have to factor in taxes.
I mean, they
That's it.
talk about phasing out cash eventually.
I don't think they could
So
ever fully do that, but also like most of the money in the world is digital.
yeah, I mean, banks don't have like they have like a crazy small amount of what they have on the books.
Yeah.
You know, um, I was gonna say something. Oh, I guess thinking of it in reverse, like there's been what's happened even more often is I'll be at a grocery store and I'm in a hurry, like I got shit to do, or like I need to get home for a meeting or something, and I'm like, oh, I'll just stop in and grab some milk, you know.
Hmm.
And the person in front of me decides they're gonna buy their groceries with like $100 bills, and it's like, Jesus, bro, like you don't have any smaller bills, and then like that not only they're looking for or like they're looking for the exact amount. Like they're like, okay, maybe I got like a quarter on me or something, so I'm gonna have to
Oh,
like give them. I'm
dude.
like, bro, let's
You know
go.
what? You know what I hate? I hate when back when I worked at a movie theater, I'm not gonna name it, but so I would hate when you would be like they would give you they would give you cash, right? And Jesus, camera. They give you cash, and you would start giving them change, and you've already completed the transaction. What, Jesus Christ, man! It's flashing green so much. Um, anyways, you're getting ready to give them their change, and then they go, "Oh, wait," and they give you a quarter, and it's like you you really waited this whole time. Like I've already counted your change. Like
Yeah,
why? Like I get it. It means that you have less change to get back, but like God, man, like
it's trying to
I'm
give you the
already
exact
done.
amount. It's
Like
so annoying.
yeah, or like a nickel. Like okay,
Like
dude. Like
it takes the same amount of time for them to dig this like crumbled up dollar bill from their like shoe or something, you know, to give you the exact amount as it does for you to count the change.
I've never been given
Anyways.
a $2 bill
Have you ever
from
been given when I worked at the movies? There were several times where I was given like a ripped bill that's been taped, and I'd had to like go because it would depend on
yeah,
the
you can't.
yeah, I'd be like, can I take this? They'd be like, nah, man. Like if it was like a five or something, but that's a $50 bill. You can't take a ripped $50 bill. That's
Well,
crazy.
my understanding is with that if you go to a bank and you give them at least 50% of the bill, they can just replace it.
Yeah. So if you find a ripped bill,
Yeah, and
to the bank.
you can't you can't take a $50 bill that's been ripped in half and then give them one half and then go to a different bank and give them the other half because it has to be. I think it's like it might actually be it has to be 51% of the bill or something like that. There's like a certain threshold
Oh,
so
that's
that you
interesting.
can't do that, and it's like, what are the odds that you're gonna rip it perfectly in half? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Jesus
You go to the
Christ.
bank with like a piece of a corner. Hey, let me get this. Let me get this
I can't
$50
even
bill.
tell what number this is.
Yeah. That might be a 10. You're like, nah, bro.
It's
I
a
looked it up. I
hundred.
Googled it. I got a microscope at home.
Yeah.
I examined it.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So moving on. Uh, Patreon update. So we got 13 likes on the Patreon. So I wanted to get the Patreon up this week, but then I realized it's the 14th on the day of recording this. We're halfway through the month. Might as well wait to July 1st so you guys get a full month out of your Patreon subscription. So and that gives us more time to fine tune it and stuff before we launch it. So it's like it's we have time to really go over it and make sure. I decided I do want to make it so that to join the Discord, you only have to do the dollar. I think that's fair.
That's fair,
But I
yeah.
think I think you are gonna have to be a $3 tier member to play games with us, though. That's because if we have every $1 member wanting to play games, people are just gonna be like, I never get to play. You know, that's what I dealt with whenever I streamed, and I don't want that. I
Yeah.
want everybody who does it to feel like they get value for it, and they actually get to play like a few times a month or something. Because if we do Call of Duty, I mean, we could play like Ground War and get a shit ton of people in there.
Dude, I really can't wait for that game. Like
Well, yeah, we're gonna talk about it later.
I'm
We're gonna
excited.
talk about it later, baby. Also, we had audio only versions of the podcast in the past. I looked into it, and the to have the archived old episodes along with new ones, they upped the price on the database that we used. So it's $216 for a year.
Over
And
a year.
so I want to see how the Patreon performs. Maybe we can make it a goal where, like, if we get, I don't know, what, 50 members in the Patreon or something, then it's worth doing. Maybe we'll make it a goal. Like, oh, well, we hit 50 members on the Patreon. We're gonna launch the audio only versions because 216 bucks is not nothing to just like all of a sudden drop and like I don't know. I don't know how much having it audio only is gonna grow the audience. I have to look into it. Like I got to look at the old data, you know, kind of see if it's really worth doing right away. Um, and then we'll also go over all the tiers because I think some of the things I said in the past are going to be tweaked and a little. I just want to make sure everybody's getting a good bang for their buck and they feel like the tier they're subscribing for is really worth it. And like the next one, if it's $1 or $5 more or $10 more, it's worth upgrading as well. I don't want anybody to feel like like is this really worth my money? I want every single tier to feel like you're getting something worthwhile, and especially since it's monthly, I just want to make sure everybody's, feels like their money's valued. It's not just like, toss a coin in my wishing well, whoever, the Witcher dude. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, now we can move on. The Black Ops 6 reveal happened. I'm tired, by the way, guys. I've been up since 4 in the morning because of the
And
the
I
film
like
shoot stuff. So
just woke up
yeah,
like an hour ago. So I'm
brain's not firing on all cylinders.
yeah.
But so the Black Ops 6 was revealed. They didn't show a lot of zombies, or they showed more of multiplayer than zombies,
Yeah,
I
they
feel
showed a
like.
lot more
But
multiplayer than zombies.
yeah, but I did a Twitter poll because I was just curious. 97 people voted. Will they pre-order the game? 47.4% said hell yeah. And then 33% said they need to see more, which I'm guessing is a lot of zombies fans or something, or
Yeah.
maybe even, multiplayer people. Or maybe it's people who are like, oh, well, I might just only play Warzone, so I don't know if I want to buy the game. And then 19.6% said nah, which I mean, it's Twitter, so some of these people might not even be gamers, you know.
Or they might not be
So
real.
that too. But it is going to be available day one on the Xbox Game Pass, so that's pretty dope,
Yeah,
man.
well, so
You're,
so the interesting thing about that is the way that it works is I think uh, you have to have a certain version of the Game Pass to get the full game.
Mhm.
If you have a specific version, it's only campaign. So,
I think that's fair.
yeah, I agree.
Fair for a $70 brand new game. That's like a flagship title.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, personally, I think zombies is going to be very hit or miss because it looks like they're trying to do everything that was really good about Cold War zombies and then combine it with the stuff that we liked from the previous zombies modes. So they're bringing back the gumballs from Black Ops 3, which
I like that.
some people loved, some people hated.
I'm okay with it.
I personally really liked it. I think in Black Ops 4 they really messed up. So
That game
it,
just was a mess in general.
I I won't even talk about it, man. It was it was not. I did not like Black Ops 4.
No
Uh,
campaign, bro. What kind of bullshit is that?
well, they did add a campaign in quotes, but it
It's
was
like that Rainbow Six has the same thing. It's like a character
yeah,
tutorial, basically.
yeah. And so they were going to have a campaign, and then they turned everything that was in the campaign into the specialist stories or whatever they were called. It's anyways. So Black Ops 6, I actually I'm really hoping that all the negativity that people have been talking about, like oh it's online only and this and that. I hope that it's not entirely true because they're saying that you need an internet connection in order to play zombies, right? Which for like Modern Warfare 3 that made sense because it was a multiplayer mode.
Hmm.
Um,
But this
but
is not supposed.
if you're playing round based zombies, you could play solo, and if you're doing like a solo high round run, you don't want to have to be connected to the internet because if your internet cuts out for a split second, or if their servers go down, your match is over.
Yeah, I could see the gripes and complaints about that. I think what so I'm hearing that they've had the whole studio working on the game for 2 years, but they've had like a skeleton crew working on it for like 4 years. So there's been a lot of thought put into this one. I think they already knew like, okay, the games that we got coming out are kind of half baked. We need to have a big hitter somewhere in there to keep the fans happy, and this seems like that's the game. I like where they're going with the campaign. Honestly, it made me want to go back and play the other Black Ops games before it comes out if I
Yeah,
have the time. So I started doing Black Ops 1, like a mission here and there. Um, but the movement system has a lot of people hyped. Like
yeah.
it really feels like I mean, because that's not something easy to pull off at all.
Well,
What
also
they
like
did.
the idea of being able to sprint backwards. It's like every game that you play only lets you sprint forward, right?
It's actually innovative.
And
Yeah.
because Call of Duty is like Call of Duty is kind of like the Apple of the video game world in that like whatever Call of Duty does, every other game is going to try and do, right?
Yeah.
So if every game starts doing that, that's going to be so awesome. Cuz even like if, I'm going to bring up Fallout again, but Fallout 4, the movement honestly way better than it was in the older games. Fallout 3 New Vegas, you couldn't even sprint.
But it's still sluggish.
It's still sluggish though, right? And so the idea of being able to move in every direction and you can sprint in every direction and maybe they would add in like oh you can prone and stuff. Doubt it, but it's possible. That would be cool and it would make the game feel a lot more fluid, which I mean Bethesda games kind of need. So,
Piece of trash on the ground was bothering me. Like, man, what is that?
um,
Um, yeah, no, I'm curious to see how it affects the gameplay. I assume it's gonna make things even more fast paced.
mm-hmm.
But what I'm really happy about is they were like straight up. We went back to what we know the fans love. All the maps are 3-lane maps. I'm like, thank you,
And
because I
classic prestige.
yes, and it's all available day one.
Yeah.
None of this seasonal like season zero bullshit. I can't stand that because it's like shooting yourself in the foot like right at the start of the race,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Everybody's hyped about this game, and then they get to the max level within like 2 weeks, and then you feel like you gotta wait for this season one that usually gets delayed because they go do the test launch of it, and they're like, oh shit, it kind of broke the game. We gotta do some tweaking here. We're gonna delay it 48 hours or whatever. And so you're still just waiting there, like, I just want to play your game,
Yeah.
but I have no incentive to play it right now. So I'm happy that day one, and they did the best of both worlds. Where you had the classic prestige, but then when you get to master prestige, it's like 1,000 levels.
Well, see,
And
that's
I'm
how the
sorry, dude. You get to 1,000 levels, bro. You need to go out and touch some grass, homie.
well,
That's crazy.
so funny thing is that so they did that in Black Ops 3, right?
Hmm.
I think I got to like level 300 in Black Ops
Yeah.
3. But I also played a lot of zombies when that game came out. And they had Zombies Chronicles on there. So it was like I think there was like there had to have been like 16 maps or something like that in that game. So like yeah, there was a lot to do. Granted, that was on Xbox. So if I played on PC, I feel like a peasant.
Yeah,
But
but if you think about how much each level goes up and the amount of XP, because like each level, it adds like a percentage of like it's like an extra
yeah,
percentage.
getting to level 1,000 is
It's like
like
it's like every
yeah.
level is like an extra 12% of
Yeah.
what the last level was. So by the time you get to 1,000, bro, you're talking about like probably like 2 weeks just grinding like one level, playing like every day like as a job. Like that is nuts. Like who has that? If you have that kind of time, like why aren't you like the next Steve Jobs or something? Because you got shit figured out to the point where you can do that, or you're just a bum.
Well, also
Straight up bum.
a thing that made it really easy in Black Ops 3 was there was a lot of XP glitches. Like I know there was one where you could complete the main quest for that Doris remake over and over again, and you would get like infinite XP. And then they patched it out. So if you did that before the patch, you had like a few prestiges probably just like done. This is really
Yeah,
easy.
that
So
that made what I said made me. Sorry, it's like a slightly different train of thought, if that's okay. If there's anything other, I
no,
I
go
I,
ahead, go
I
ahead.
did hear some rumors that transit might come back.
They say that every
I don't.
freaking year, man.
They do, but they actually showed like there was like an image that I saw everybody enhancing, and you can see it's
Well,
like one of the things from Transit.
so there's
Um,
there's a channel that has been around for a while. His name is Mr. Raffle Waffles. Okay. And
okay, I think I've heard of them.
yeah, he does a lot of tutorial. A very smart dude. Um, he's kind of known for when Vanguard came out, he made a face during his stream where he was like very disappointed, right? Like he's the guy that you go to for like the correct zombies opinion. And
Hmm.
he kind of brought up like, hey, this map is called Liberty Falls, and it takes place near a place that's literally called Green Run, like from Black Ops 2. That's where Transit takes place. Is Transit coming back? Right? It's possible. It is.
I love Transit.
I
I love
which I
Transit.
think is hilarious because most people hate Transit. Transit
Why?
because it's poorly designed.
Well, they could make it better.
They
Just
could,
because one version
they
of it was
could,
bad doesn't mean
they could, but then it's no longer Transit.
it. Well, they change Nuketown every goddamn time, and people are like, "Oh, it's the same shit with a different skin on it," and they
Uh,
like change a couple things.
Except for Black Ops 3. You could like run on walls in that one.
Well, I mean, everything was different in that game because of it. But
Yeah.
the sidetrack thought that I had was Jeannie, who I hope will have on for episode 40, because every 10th episode I would like to try and get a guest on if we can. Um, I uh I remember talking to him because he was I was like, bro, you lost weight, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I started thinking about it like an RPG character. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, it's like a real life video game. You know, like if I do this, and like my stamina goes up and my health meter goes up and all this stuff. I'm like, that's a good way of looking at it. That's how you should look at life in general. I
Dude,
feel like,
yeah,
man.
I saw it was some meme, but it was like your job is a quest, and every time you complete part of the quest, you get like a certain amount of XP, and if you have a certain amount of XP, then you can buy a house.
That's true. Living in a stable lifestyle.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it is a good way to look at it because it's like I'm just doing what I have to make my character better, right? Now,
Yeah,
it's a little sad, but whatever gets you through your day. So,
it's just another way to approach things.
yeah,
Like I mean, it's literally like, like I feel like my intelligence level's low. Like
time to go read a
I could
book.
literally like I'm gonna go watch some YouTube videos and learn how to, like, I don't know, properly do laundry and shit so my
Yeah.
clothes smell better. I don't know, like, because dude, I mean, it's kind of sad. Some people genuinely like go throughout life not knowing that they're doing things the wrong way, or a less efficient way, just because nobody taught them. Like that's part of being an adult, is like figuring shit out on your own. Like, like, no, people go, wait a minute. I never asked my mom like how to do laundry. She just always did it, and it was like, oh, thanks, mom.
You
You
know what
know?
I keep bringing up because so at work they bring up just these terms I've never heard before, right? And the one that I learned recently was lot lizard. Okay, and so I'm on the phone with our sister and our brother-in-law, and I'm like, yeah, so I learned the term lot lizard. Brother-in-law just starts busting up laughing, and our sister's just like, what does that mean? And it kind of clicked in my head. I'm like, I didn't know what that term meant because nobody else in my family knew what that term meant,
Yeah, I
right?
forget what it is.
It's like a it's like a hitchhiker that's like trying to get it on. Like it like they're like essentially like a prostitute, right? Like that's
I feel like I heard this in Trailer Park Boys a long time ago or
and
something.
it like they're typically found at truck stops is
Yeah.
what you'll usually hear. And I don't know, it's like just that's it's like that's the transaction is like, they get rides and then they, do whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's just,
Yeah.
but it's just a funny term, lot lizard. Like it's so
Well, I mean, and
mean.
like towns have their own like terms like that. Like I remember when I was in like when we were living in when I was still in my, or I would go back to my hometown and go hang out with friends and like go to a bar or something, grab a beer, and they'd be like, "Yeah, man, like see any Yuma Yummies tonight?" And I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?" And they're like, "Those are like the chubby chicks that are like always down, you know?" And it's like, "Yuma Yummies? What the hell?"
I know the one that you would always hear back in like 2009 was grenade.
Yeah, yeah. Or like have you ever heard like the Lulu? Oh, she's the Lulu?
Well, so another one that I heard, and this is from like one of the older guys at work. You ever heard the term
Huh.
cat farmer?
No.
A cat farmer is like a crazy cat person, right? The term cat farmer, like if you think about it, right? It's like they're just increasing the cat population because they just keep having cats. Like
Yeah, that's funny. That makes sense. But anyways, to close off this topic, like I said, we will be partying up with people in the Cool Ranch Corner Discord, once that's launched, to play Call of Duty. So, if you think if you're gonna have the Game Pass, and you got the right tier, you can come play zombies or multiplayer with us when that game's out. And it's the first, it's the first time where I genuinely feel like there's a chance Call of Duty might seriously be back. But I'm also like, I've felt like this before,
with Modern
just
Warfare
not to this
2,
level.
Modern Warfare
Well,
2
with
was
Modern Warfare 2, yeah, but there was something about the play style that one that just
everything
didn't
felt so
feel
much
right.
slower than the whole thing with like was it
It felt like
it's
2019, but like with more bloat on it.
yeah, like there were certain things about like the reloading and the hailing and stuff. You know what the big thing was, you couldn't reload cancel anymore.
Well, because Modern Warfare 3, my biggest issue is there's too many goddamn guns in that game.
Yeah.
Everybody's using like a gun from like, oh, somebody found out that if you use this gun from like Modern Warfare 2 or whatever, or from, was it Cold War? Or, like, which I can't remember which ones I think it was just Modern Warfare 2.
No,
Modern
they
Warfare 2 and
added,
Modern Warfare
bro, they
3.
added guns from like Advanced Warfare to Modern Warfare 3.
I think those were just like DLC,
Still.
but what I'm saying is like when you start off a game with that many guns, like people are gonna find out like, oh, they tweaked like this thing with the hitbox, and so like this gun like it's broken, and like it was just
Well,
constantly like
yeah.
hearing about a gun that was broken, and people abuse that, and it makes it not
Well, and then
fun.
that's a big problem with the newer CODs is you have people worrying about the meta, and it's like, brother, it's a video game where
Yeah.
you just shoot people and then like you unlock camos. Like that's literally all the game is now. It's not.
Yeah,
You're not cool for getting, you know, you going 40-2 in a game where like everybody's 12 years old and they got the game for Christmas, and you're using this broken build you found on YouTube from some guy with 12 subscribers. Like I
Christmas
don't get
soon.
it. Yeah.
Um, we should do the ad break real quick. So you feel code Danny D is 30% off until the 16th. So I think this is going up on the 16th, 15th or
I
16th.
am not.
Either way,
It's then
if you're watching this like 12 to 24 hours
it should go
within the
tomorrow.
time that okay, yeah. If you're watching this within like the first 24 hours of the upload, then it's probably 30% off still. So get that extra 10% off. They just restocked a ton of hydration flavors. They just restocked PewDiePie today. My favorite Blue Bomber slushie just got
Well, so
restocked.
how many
And hot
hydration
sauce.
flavors do they have?
I mean total there's like 16 of them or something, but they
God
usually have like
dang.
half in stock at the most at a time.
Are they
Um,
ever gonna do hydration cans?
they did bottles for a while, but they stopped. I think they like expire too quickly or something.
Uh,
But Also, Danny Dorito shakers are still in stock. Very limited supply left, so get some while you can. I recommend getting two because they don't last forever. And you can have one as a display. Tell all your friends, I got a Danny Dorito shaker. You can't get that anymore, baby. I
I
got the
think I
Danny D.
think I have like 5 or 6
I have
shakers.
a box of like 10 in my closet because I'm like, I want to make sure I have them
Let's see.
so I
So
can have one forever.
I have yours. I have there's like there was one that I got like a long time ago. Um, what is it? The Doctor's Respect one? That was like the first one that
Probably.
we got. Yeah, I remember that. But I
I still
that
have it.
yeah, that Fallout one,
I
it
have the
looks
box.
so clean, bro. I'm so happy about that one. I,
Yeah, yeah. Get some G Fuel, man. I'm telling you. It is definitely worth the money, especially 30% off.
yeah.
Like that's the best deal you can get besides a BOGO, and they do a BOGO maybe like, I don't know, 3, 4 times a
Do,
year
do
now.
they do they sell cans individually that go to a
Only at
store?
like gas stations and stuff, yeah.
Because honestly, I think that might be a good way. Like if you've never had it before, just to try it. Because those
People
cans,
people tell me that they find them at like the dollar store and stuff, like literally
dang.
like dollar stores they'll find them sometimes for $1. So check your local dollar stores. You might find some G Fuel cans for a sweet discount. I know GNC and stuff, they do sales on them every once in a while where you can get like two for 250 or something. That's a
Yeah,
pretty good
because
deal.
the cans go hard, bro. I love the G Fuel cans.
Yeah, I mean the cans are just convenient, man, and they're
Yeah.
consistent. You know, like sometimes you
Yes.
put a little less powder or a little more, or a little less water or a little more ice, and like there's so many factors to that. Like it's hard to get like sometimes I'm like, damn, I probably should have put a little more powder. I think it was like a light scoop or something. But with the cans, it's same experience every time, man. So, um, it's personal preference though. I definitely like some flavors better in can form, some flavors better in powder form. It just depends. So everybody's different. Try different things, man. And that's the fun part about G Fuel is like getting to experience new flavors all the time. And oh, they restocked a fan favorite that people have been asking for forever. Like, please bring back Nemesis Tea already.
Yes.
But let's move on because I have a topic that I'm honestly still like processing. Um, I googled myself this week, okay,
Oh
and I
no.
literally
Feet
I put my
Finder.
I this this topic is literally listed as secret topic. This is wild in our notes. So Chris doesn't even know about this. So I Google myself and I'm going through like because I'm like, okay, like, you know, every once in a while there'll be like a new article or some website for famous people. And I'm just like curious, like, oh, what did they get my birthday right on this one? Stuff like that. Like every once in a while, just check. And also I'm like, oh, what if somebody's on there like you just never know. So I Google myself and I get to like page 3 or 4 or something like that, and I see this weird post, and I'm like, what is this? I click it, and if you're gonna go look for this, just know there is nudity on it. It's like a website, like for I think it's just for gay men, but I don't I don't know. It might just be like a straight up LGBTQ website or whatever. But it was somebody with a picture of me from a TikTok shirtless going like I kind of like this guy's build. Honestly, I'd rate him a 7 out of 10. What do you guys think? And then like does anybody have any pictures of his bulge? And I'm like, my what? And so I look and somebody's like, oh, this is already a thread. And so I click on the old thread. I click on
Oh
the old thread, and since like February, there's been like there was like 4 or 5 like dudes in there, and like literally their profile things will say like 60% gay, 40% straight, and like all this stuff. And they're literally just going through like screenshots of my TikToks, and like some of them had like Theo like blurred out because they don't want to like get in trouble. And they're literally like talking about my physique and like, oh, you can kind of see his bulge in this one because he's wearing sweatpants. Somebody's like, oh, bro, have you seen the G Fuel diaper? And I'm like, oh no. And like, they're like, man, I wish we could see him naked. And I'm like,
no.
dude, like,
Jesus
I feel like a
Christ.
piece of meat.
Oh my
But
lord.
I mean, I'm like, it's the internet. I'm not surprised. Honestly, like, it could be worse.
It could
I'm
be
flattered,
worse.
I guess, but that was just like a weird thing. I'm like, is this how like this has to be how women feel like all the time, Because dudes literally like take a screenshot of somebody's Instagram post and start sending to friends.
Have you
Damn,
seen
bro,
the
look
G
so
Fuel diaper though?
whoa, that G Fuel diaper. No, but yeah, that was one of those things where I'm just like, so that exists.
Oh man, I almost wish
I
you didn't
showed
even say
Bobby. She's
that.
just like, but Bobby didn't believe me. She's like, no, there's not. And I show her, and she's like, oh my gosh.
That's
I mean, we're
awful,
talking
dude.
like 50 screenshots from videos. Like they were really looking for some good shots of me.
Oh god, that's
Yeah.
weird.
So
That's weird. I mean, more power to them, I guess. But
yeah,
that's
I
my
don't.
brother. That's
It's just
weird.
weird. It's one thing for it to exist. You know what I mean? Like I put myself on the internet. That's not surprising. Like that's just gonna happen eventually. I got 8 million followers. It's stuff like that's bound to happen. But to stumble upon it and then go down that rabbit hole of like how long have they been talking about this? How many pictures are on here? What are they saying? How many people are talking about this? Like that whole thing was just like,
Well, and it's the fact that it's been going on since February, which means it's relatively recent.
yeah. Well, when I saw somebody's like, this is already a thread, I was like, oh no,
This is art. This
oh
is.
no.
Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years.
And he's like, yeah, I know it's already a thread, but like, where's the bolt? So like the other night, last night we're recording. We recorded that crumble cookie nightmare video, which if you haven't seen it, go check it out because it was really fun to make. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Have you seen it yet, Chris?
No.
You got to check it out after this because it was a doozy. But anyways, it's like I wake up from a nightmare, and uh, I try things as I go, right? I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I was like, okay, well, I have to do this one a little differently because of this and that. If you see the video, you'll understand the context. Basically, like something happens twice, and so the second time I was like, oh, I'm gonna change it up, and so I was like, I'm not gonna have my shirt on, and I do this take, and then I'm like, I don't want this to end up in that forum. Put my shirt back on, redid it. I was like, nah, bro, nah, bro.
See, and they're gonna
Anyway,
they're gonna they're gonna they're gonna listen to this episode and they're gonna be like, "Dang it, guys, we gotta stop talking about it."
when I scrolled down to the bottom, it seemed like there was a lot of threads about TikTokers. Like, I wonder if like this specific like website was about like TikTokers and stuff. So I
That's
don't know. I
weird.
didn't want to dig any deeper, man. I was just like, I don't see anything else about me. I'm out. I don't need to see. I don't need to stumble upon like a Jordy 2D thread or something. A Zeusy thread.
Oh, okay.
A Benjamin thread. I wonder what he's got under that old timey outfit.
Now they're gonna start pulling up
Uh,
they're gonna pull up clips from the hot tub stream, bro.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, and once again, shout out to Benjamins. But I remember that stream to this day, and honestly, bro, best hot tub stream from that whole era,
The way he
100%.
executes things always like surprises me. Because like that was I remember seeing where he was like it was like a green screen, like there was a pool behind him, and then he went like boom, and there was an actual pool behind him, and then he like threw his chair in the pool, and I was like, that was cool.
Yeah,
That fooled with my brain for a second, and I was like, that was cool. And like he obviously had to take time to set this all up. Like huge props. Like I don't think I know a streamer who goes through more trouble. Honestly, I can't think of one.
well, I can think of one, but not like trouble as in like
I mean, to like
setting stuff up, but like
yes,
because
like to orchestrate it all, I guess.
yeah, because I'm say there's trouble that there's a specific streamer that I know that goes through trouble a lot, and I don't watch him anymore. So
Puts in that much effort, I guess, is a
okay,
better way of saying it.
yes,
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. Um. So to this week's news story, I want to preface by saying, I'm not saying this is not like one of those situations where like, oh, this didn't happen or these people didn't really die or some stupid shit like that. But there the in 2017, the Las Vegas shooting happened, right? And a lot of people died. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. But the first thing they went and did was they said, okay, this guy used this bump stock thing on his gun to fire rounds more quickly. And I guess the Supreme Court um just rejected that. So I guess like that's not banned anymore, which is kind of
Oh wow.
interesting. I guess it had to do with rights and stuff, you know. Um but because that came up and I watched like a news video about that on my TikTok, I got another video after that that kind of blew my mind. And it was basically like this guy breaking down about the fact that nobody seemed to realize that when they finally broke the door open and went into that room, the window, and this is on camera, you can go look it up. The window that they say that he was shooting out of was not broken.
Could he open the window?
No, those windows could not open. He was those hotels they're designed so you can't open the windows. They don't want people jumping out of them. But you can watch the footage and they go, window is not broken. And all you go watch the news footage where all the news are reporting about it, and they cut that part of the videos out. It's body cam footage. You can see clear as day the window is not broken. The window they say he was
But
shooting from.
but that's the thing that's so because I've heard stuff before about like the situation surrounding that is like a little fuzzy, it's a little weird. But I don't
Yeah,
know like what are the implications of that? Like what are they saying?
the conspiracy isn't like, oh, like this didn't happen. It's like who orchestrated this shit,
Yeah,
because
that's what I
it
thought
doesn't
it
add
was.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I mean the other thing is like I've when that whole thing came out I was like, what the hell is a bump stock, right? And so I like look up these videos of people using them, and the first thing that I noticed was like they're not they are like they would like stop and shake their arm. That shit does not, you can't do it for a
I
very
think
long
I think
time. It causes, it gives you like dead arm.
if you I think Jerry Rig Everything has a video on bump stocks. And that guy
Yeah,
is he's very good at explaining things like if you need info on it, he's good at
yeah.
explaining that. So I would look up that video. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the
To
other thing
fire
is
as many rounds as he did in that amount of time, I'm just saying
yeah.
like the bump stock thing just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because that guy was not, I mean, he was old. It's not like he was like in the tip top physical shape like a Navy SEAL or some shit, you know? And a lot of people say that if you listen to it, it sounds more like a belt fed machine gun than anything. So, and there's all kinds of like, oh, like some people said they saw bullets coming from a helicopter, and like the sound that the rounds people were hearing, did it make sense based off of where they said it was shooting? Like, because there's videos and they like pinpointed where the video was taken, and they're like, you should not be able to hear that well in that area. That has to be coming from a different spot. So a lot of things don't add up, and because this is YouTube and like I don't want to get too far into the rabbit hole of sketchy stuff like that. Um, we'll stop with that topic there. But it was just one of those things that had me scratching my head and going, huh? Like, and if you think about it, like they really dropped that news story very quick, and we
Yeah.
still don't know what the motive was or anything. And like, I mean, the other thing was like, I was like, damn, 2017, it's been that long, because that was a very like, I remember that very well when that happened. That shit was crazy. I remember, and it was very well documented by all the people who were at that concert
Yeah, and there
too.
was
So like
lots of
watching the,
footage from people in the crowd.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's
I mean, it's made me not want to go to like outdoor festivals like that ever again. Because I've been to one,
I've never
but
been to any because I just don't like being in
yeah,
large
it's just,
crowds.
I mean, such a sad situation. But then to just like not even like know what you know what the deal was and how it really happened and stuff. And they found like like they found like a couple laptops with the hard drives missing and stuff. And it's like, who took the hard drives? They found like two pairs of gloves. Like, why is there two pairs of gloves for one dude? Like shit like that, man, just doesn't add up.
Well,
But
on a different note, there is another news story that you may have not heard of. I heard about it a lot. There was a lot of talk about Russian ships being in Cuba. Did you hear about
yeah,
that?
yeah, I
Um,
did hear some stuff about that, but I didn't know what the situation was.
that's the thing. So I don't think anybody really knows what the situation is. All I heard was that people in Florida have organized to start just shooting guns at the ships.
I saw memes. I saw memes where it's like people fucking.
But they have a nuclear submarine there. That's weird.
Yeah, that's not that like that's definitely setting off some
And
alarm.
the only thing I will say about it is if because I think what I heard was that it was a training exercise. Well, the last time that we heard that from Russia, we had Ukraine. So I not looking good. Just
I don't
saying.
know, man. It like I don't. I mean, I don't pay a lot of attention to the news and get all the updates, but it really boggles me with the whole Russia situation. Like, are they, it almost seems like they're trying to get themselves in a bad
It's
situation.
I
With
think it's
like,
because Putin he's probably gonna die soon. There was
I
a
remember there was they were like, oh, like supposedly he's dead. You remember? There was
well
like a little
they
while where like they couldn't tell if he was alive or not. It was almost like the Kim Jong Un thing.
the thing that was weird was during that event that started in 2020 when everyone got sick. Um, he was like when he would do meetings, he would have them sit at the opposite end of these like giant tables, right? Because he didn't want to get sick, and it makes you
The
wonder,
Austin
like,
Powers movie.
was yeah, he was like really worried about getting sick. So why? Like, is it because he knows his health isn't that great? Does he have some other condition? Does he not know the full
I
details of
mean,
what was going on? I get it, I do, but also like
yeah.
it goes to show like if he was 40, he
I mean,
might be
he's an old dictator. He can do whatever he wants. If he doesn't want to risk it, he doesn't.
yeah,
He's gonna not risk it.
yeah.
I don't know.
But my point is, it's like if he's taking that big of a precaution, he's probably not super confident in his health.
I don't know. I mean, the world is going through a lot of change right now, and it always is. But it just feels like there's a lot more. Maybe it's because we see it more because of like social media and stuff. Like we're more we just see things quicker, or we're able to see more stuff in a shorter amount of time because of it. We're not like opening a newspaper and it's like, you have to read all through this stuff. It's very quick. You can see somebody talking about a topic and it takes like 30 seconds for them to basically sum it up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So interesting time to be alive, and I don't know, man. It's gonna be an interesting rest of the year, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for
But
Black Ops 6 to come out.
I know, right? I'm like October 24th, man. It ain't that far.
Yeah, and then I think they're doing like more info on the game in August, so we'll hear more
Yeah,
about it then.
more
Hopefully, more about
zombies.
zombies, because
I talk about Warzone, which I really don't care about Warzone anymore.
I
Sorry.
I I wonder how many people who are playing Call of Duty are still playing Warzone, because I'm sure it's not very many.
Yeah, I mean, I really believe that Warzone thrived in the first place because of what was going on in the world at the time that it first came out. So
Yeah, just like Among Us. Among Us
yeah,
was like really popular because of that. So,
yeah.
is it movie time?
Well, I have a topic that kind of leads into it. I had a lot of comments and like a lot of them, a lot of people on my TikTok will want me to watch a new show or a new movie, and they'll like post that on every video, hoping that I'll pick their comment. And one of the things I've been seeing a lot recently is watch the new Star Wars show, and literally that is the wording that I see from a lot of people, which tells me one, they don't even know or care enough to
It's
say
called
the actual name of the
Acolyte.
show. Yeah. And then two, um I'm hearing nothing but bad things, and it just
Yeah.
continues to get worse. Right now, if you go look at IMDb, it has like a 3.7 or a 3.8 out of 10. which makes it like the worst rated like Star Wars thing ever, I think.
Jesus
Um,
Christ, dude.
Rotten Tomatoes, they're saying that it's kind of exposing Rotten Tomatoes
Where they're paying,
weaknesses
yeah, yeah.
because there is different things called the acolytes and stuff like that, or the acolyte. Yeah, like it's called the acolyte, right? And there's like a show called the Acolytes and like a movie called the Acolytes, and so there's like review bombing going on the wrong titles, which shows that it's obviously people paying for bots to do that. So I'm like, that's wild. Um, that people are going through, but like I said, it exposes that the rotten, you can't trust Rotten Tomatoes. You don't know who's, because obviously
Yeah.
if you could pay for negative reviews, you could pay for positive ones too. Um, so that's kind of crazy. But yeah, no thanks, man. I'm good. The
Yeah,
Acolyte
I'm
looks
not gonna
like
watch it. Just like
it, it,
Marvel.
it I think I will watch the Mandalorian movie that's supposed to come out,
You're doing a
and I
movie?
might watch. Yeah, because they need to tie off. They need to wrap up Pedro Pascal because I don't think he wants to do it anymore, and they completely butchered the storyline of the show. I don't even know if they're gonna do a season 4 because of how bad season 3 was and how much people hated it.
Speaking of season
Andor
4,
season 2, it might be the only thing that I watched that's a show because Andor season 1 was honestly the best thing
I need to
besides
watch Andor.
Mandalorian 1 and 2. Dude, it is like Blade Runner meets Star Wars, no joke. It's dope.
So
Very slow, but it has good payoffs.
speaking of season 4, The Boys. I need to
Yes.
watch it
Movie
because
TV show of the week, baby. The Boys is back.
so
I've seen the first episode
I
of season 4
haven't. One thing I did hear was that this is the lowest reviewed season so far.
by like 1%.
So I am going to take that into account when I'm watching it. But
I
it's
wouldn't.
it's The Boys, so it'll be good.
Season 1 was like 96%. Season 2 was like 85. Or no, season 2 was 86. Then
This one's
season 3 was
83.
like 94. And then this one is, yeah. Okay, so it might have gone down another percentage or two. But I watched the first episode of season 4 and I was like, God damn, the writing in this show is good, man. They do exposition in that show so goddamn well, bro. To the point where I'm like, bro, I just learned so much, and I felt like I was enjoying like an interesting conversation that like fleshed out the characters without and developed the plot without making it feel like an exposition dump. Which in a first episode of a season, like there's always so much exposition in the first episode because they have to catch you up between
Yeah,
seasons, what everything that happened, because oh, so and so's not in the show anymore, or so. One thing you'll notice with this season, the Starlight chick got a crazy face job, and
I
then
did hear about that. Yeah.
the guy who plays Mother's Milk lost a ton of weight, man. Like, good for he looks good, man. He looks like a leading man now. Because he was like a husky looking boy in the first 2 seasons, and I remember seeing that he lost some weight in the third one, but this one I was like, damn, bro, I think this is where we stop. You look good, like maybe even bulk up a little bit, like muscle wise, but like he looks like a different dude almost. And so like they even that like they say something about that, and I'm like, thank you. Because I feel like
Yeah.
some shows they have an actor go through a crazy weight transformation, or they have a car accident. Now they got like a weird
Freaking
scar or something,
El
and they just
Camino was
like,
like that.
yeah, like I don't I actually like when they address it and make it fit the story, and
Yeah.
it like builds the character at the same time. I'm like, why
Yeah.
don't more shows do that? I think it's just because writers think, oh, we don't want to draw attention to something, or
Yeah.
maybe the actor doesn't want attention drawn to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But first episode was great. I'm gonna watch probably episode 2 and 3 tonight, and then tomorrow, I'm taking the family to. I'll keep this quick. Flick's Brew House, which is like the food there is like going to the movies and getting to see it on the big screen with that sound system and everything is like the best way to watch movies. Peak movie experience. The food, like doubles the experience, man. The food is so good here. If you ever come here, we are going to Flick's Brew House to see a movie because they have the best cheeseburger I've had in this city.
Do they have steak?
I think so. Yeah, dude, they have breakfast. They have like they have a breakfast menu where you can get like French toast and like appetizers. They have their own beers. They have so much ice. And oh, here's the thing, like the way that it, I don't know if you saw my video. You saw my video about it, right? How it works.
I don't think so.
So they have like bottomless popcorn. So you have like a bowl of popcorn, right? And let's say, halfway through the movie, oh shit, popcorn's empty. You hit a you there's a notepad. You write more popcorn and like, no butter or whatever. And then or I don't even think I wrote that and they still got it right. More popcorn, and you hit this button. Some guy walks over, or a waiter person walks over, server, whatever you call him, looks at the note, turns off the button, and then like you go back to watch your movie, and then like 5 minutes later, they bring you fresh popcorn, and it doesn't disrupt your movie experience like at all, bro. I'm like,
That's crazy.
if I mean, it is like double the price of going to a normal movie theater, but you're getting like a legit meal. I told Bobby, I was like, if we are like not wanting to spend a ton of money on a babysitter, this kills two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
You get a legitimately like gourmet meal, and the every auditorium is different. So like, but what I've noticed is like all the screens and the sound systems seem to be on the same level of quality. So like it's legit, man. It is within like 4 or 5 visits become my favorite movie theater. Period.
Hmm.
And so I'm taking Bobby's gonna experience it for the first time tomorrow because we're going to see Inside Out 2 as a family. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
try the hot honey chicken sandwich tomorrow. Woo!
Well, as my recommendation for the week, I have two. I have
I said I
two.
was gonna keep it quick.
So
I'm sorry.
you're good. So
Yeah.
um, I haven't had the opportunity to watch stuff lately, but we were kind of talking about it at work. So there is a movie called Lord of War that has Nick Cage, and the intro to that movie is so freaking cool, man. You like watch a bunch of bullets get made, but like it really shows.
Keep in mind, I don't think the CG like holds
It,
up anymore, but
but
it
it
still looks
but
cool.
yeah, it's like what it's actually showing is cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the way that it actually like transitioned into the movie itself, yeah. Um, but it really shows like the dark side of weapons trafficking and stuff like that. And I mean it's Nick Cage, so like it's
Solid performance.
yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly it's like I mean he's playing a pretty serious role, and I think he does a good job, considering normally you have movies where he's like getting attacked by bees. He's like freaking out.
Please.
Not the bees, oh my eyes. Yeah, so I think like
Damn
it's
it.
it's 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 probably one of his best performances in my opinion, because
Yeah.
really there's a lot of
Eh, Can I
racist.
interject for a very brief
Go
thing?
ahead.
It's about Nicolas Cage.
Hmm.
He has there's a new movie coming out called Long Legs, and it's already known. This is not a spoiler. He's playing a serial killer, and it's a neon movie, which is like probably the closest thing to A24. And I'm already hearing people say that his performance is so creepy and unnerving that some people have been having to leave. And you go watch the trailer and you hear his voice and you're like, oh, bro, he went there. And yeah, it's got the chick from like It Follows and The Guest. I can't remember her
Hmm.
name. The blonde chick. She's playing like an FBI agent trying to find him, and it's like cult stuff. And the trailer genuinely unnerved me, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, finally a movie that like has the balls to like do something legitimately scary, and it's not just a ghost movie. It's
Yeah.
like a crime. It's something that could really happen.
Yeah.
That's what's scary. Anyways, I'm excited to see his performance in that because it sounds like it might be one of his best.
So that like so that movie's pretty serious, but if you want something a little bit more lighthearted but it still covers the same topic, I believe it's called War Dogs.
Hmm.
That movie is it's I think it's got, is it Miles Teller?
Miles Teller and Jonah Hill. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like if you want like a comparison between the two, so Lord of War is more of like this guy's a professional. He knows what he's doing. War Dogs is like it's these two really young dudes who have no idea what they're doing,
True
but like
story.
yes, um, and it gets crazy.
Yeah.
Like
I mean
it,
the basic premise is like these two guys accidentally stumble upon like this huge weapons contract, but it's just two dudes.
yeah,
Like the two normal guys. I mean, I wouldn't say normal, they're pretty crazy, but or well, Jonah Hill's character's crazy, but yeah, it's I think that movie honestly got overlooked because it came out right around the time of Wolf of Wall Street.
yeah,
And
and
Wolf of
it's
Wall Street was just a
very,
better film.
it's honestly like
Similar
the
tone.
yeah, the progression is very similar. Where it's like it starts out where it's just kind of like, oh, it's how do I say it? Like it starts out very mild, and then it's like they just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and it gets like worse and worse and worse what they're doing. You know, like it's man, that's a movie where honestly like um
Worth a watch for sure.
yeah,
It's
like
funny.
I remember like seeing it being like, what? Well, I mean, it's got actors that I like. Maybe I'll watch it. And so I started watching, and I was like, I couldn't look away. Like I was that enthralled by it. It was a great movie. So
Yeah, I remember the theater experience for that one was good. Like me and my friends had a good time.
yeah, but all good to wrap
Yeah,
it up.
yeah. Seriously though, the Boys season 4 I think is going on for like the next 5 weeks because they're releasing it weekly and they dropped the first 3 episodes. If you have not watched any of the Boys and you've seen like Invincible, like if you like Invincible, probably gonna dig the Boys because it just goes even farther with the craziness and raunchiness and that's also Seth Rogen did both of those, so he's a big component for both of those. So Amazon is killing it with superhero stuff, man, killing it.
Yeah,
But yeah, guys, Danny Dorito 23 on all socials. If you want to follow me on YouTube, go follow me on Instagram. If you want to see more personal stuff, Twitter/X is where I do some giveaways here and there until the Patreon's up. And yeah, buy some G Fuel, code Danny D for 30% off. And get ready to join the Patreon July 1st. Have a good one. See you next time.
peace.